Okay. Well, thank you for having me. Welcome. Sports fans? Any sports fans here, I'm assuming? All right. I love it. Any Panther fans? All right. Florida folks? I know I was told maybe 20% or so of the audience is here in South Florida. It's a very global group. So we put together a few slides. I really want to make this most impactful for you all. I've been in your shoes. I've been at these events. I've been looking at potential investments for my family office that I worked at. I came from the finance banking world and joined a client, and that client is the owner of the Panthers, and I was running his single family office. It was amazing. I loved it. And when he bought the team, sports ownership is more difficult than you can ever imagine, and a lot of these folks have had success in their lives and they get into it, and you always underestimate the highs, the lows, the amount of money that's involved. And after a year or two of owning the team, it's like, all right, I need you down in Florida. I'm trying to fix this thing. So here I am. I've been the president for about 6 years now. It's been a tremendous experience. We're going to tell you a little bit about our story, but I really want to get into kind of the economics of the industry and kind of the sports media technology platform that we're running, and hopefully you can take some lessons away for your own family offices. I only have like 15 or so minutes, so I was going to stop at like 10 and make it very engaging and open up for questions. Okay, next slide. I don't know if I'm supposed to. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. So trust and leadership. We had talked with Rachel, Richard, and ultimately I'm standing here because Vinny's the name of the owner, Vinny Viola. He trusts me, okay? And he said, we'll figure out what we need to do to win on the ice and sell tickets. But get down there. Let's turn this thing around. This is a massive turnaround situation that we walked into. We put together a little slide to show you kind of how we started. All right, you guys know the how it started, how it's going meme? This is what the young kids use, all right? So on the left, this is an ice hockey team in South Florida in the middle of the Everglades, okay? You guys are all investments. You're probably all saying, what the hell were you guys thinking, all right? This is not Montreal. This is not New York. You all are here in December in Fort Lauderdale for a reason, right? You want to go out to the beach, but you're all going to come to our game tonight at 7 o'clock, right? You're all coming. I love the suit jackets, by the way. Merry Christmas. But we started, this was the first year we owned the team. It was a bit of a house of cards. They were giving out free tickets. They were doing all these promotions to just get people in the building. You've probably made investments in companies where they said their revenue was one thing, but when you really dug in and started doing your diligence, it was something else. So we came in, we said, hey, we're going to put a good product on the ice, we're going to win, and we're going to convince people to come out to this arena. So this was one of our first games. There's 5,000 people in this building, okay? You can imagine my heart pumping with the attendance. There was someone from the Canadian press, took a picture of the game and sent it all over Canada and US, and people making jokes. This is the Everglades. Not a lot of people in the Everglades. So you guys know what the Everglades is? It's a big swamp. I'm getting a lot of straight faces, okay? You probably don't want a sport, an arena in the middle of, with no people. But what we saw, we're not that crazy, but what we saw was, this was 2013, 14, a lot of folks were starting to get into sports. Sports valuations were on the rise. There's a limited supply of these teams. If you look at the big four leagues, I'm sure there's some NFL fans, NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey. There's about 120 or so teams. There's not really expansion, maybe once every 5-10 years, but you just have increased demand, right? People are excited. Live sports is really the only thing you watch on TV anymore, right? Especially the young crowd is all streaming. They can watch a show on Netflix, but you probably have to, if you're going to watch the World Cup, you probably have to sit there at noon and watch it. Otherwise, at 3 o'clock, if you would try to turn it on, you're going to know who won, right? And that suspense, is what was driving live sports. So we said, okay, if we can get in, buy low, sell high, right? You guys all heard of that? If we can get in a low valuation and buy one of these teams, we think we can have a great return over time. And so Panthers were a team that had a great expansion year, but kind of the 10, 15 years before we came in, lots of ownership turnover, lots of losses. They were losing a ton of money. So we wound up, buying the team for, let's call it like 20 cents on the dollar, okay? Versus like average NHL teams. Now, as you all know, there's a reason why it was 20 cents on the dollar, right? There was only 5,000 people in the building and it was struggling. As I stand here today, we're rocking and rolling. Place is packed. We'll have a almost sellout crowd tonight. It's going really well. We won what's called the President's Trophy last year. We were the best regular season team in hockey. Now, we didn't win the Stanley Cup, which is the only thing that matters for all you hockey fans, but we're making progress. I'd love to sit here and tell you there was a 5-year strategic plan, and we had these metrics we were going to hit, and here was all the, smart financial pro forma bullshit that you guys see on, from the bankers out there. I love you all. I used to be one, but none of us really know what we're talking about, right? We're not in the middle of the Everglades selling the tickets, but we came in and we said, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to have a plan. We're going to hustle, but we're going to do this with some good old blood, sweat, and tears, right? And so it's rock and roll. And I showed some of our banners here. The franchise has been around almost 30 years. But 3 of these 5 banners we've done, under our leadership and ownership. So we've come a long way. This is Vic and I. Not just trying to show pictures of us, but I think we wanted to show the trust that we have with each other. Listen, I don't know shit about hockey, okay? Let me be very honest with you. Now you're probably all saying, how the hell are you running a hockey team? Well, the good news is I know that I don't know any shit about hockey, right? Most people have egos and they do fantasy sports and they're fans and they go out and say, all right, I'm gonna trade this player. We're very humble enough. Sit back and find the experts, find subject matter industry people. I grew up a Rangers fan. I grew up watching sport. I love sports, but I never played. I never played at this level, right? I never dug into a locker room and felt the pressure of a Game 7 Stanley Cup final. But you're real with yourself, right? And you get in on the ground, and we went out. We did a whole GM process, and we found we look at all these folks as our operating partners, and we found a great GM named Bill Zito. He's been with us a couple of years now. He's completely turned the team around. But there was a whole diligence process to find those people. When you go buy a company, you go look for a CEO, a leader. It all comes down to the people on the ground who are getting it done. Vinny knew that I would do that, right? And I wouldn't have the ego to tell the coach who to play tonight, okay? I'm going to see all you now. I'm going to swing over to the arena. I'm going to see the coach, the GM, give them my fired up energy, bear hug them, and that's probably about it, okay? And they'll probably ask me for some money to trade for someone. So, and then I'll figure that out, okay? So, we talked about commitment and leadership. This is something I'm very proud of. Vinny and I have been partners for 15 years now. When I was in the finance world, and then the last 10 or so, I was family office in the team. And when we were really just starting to turn the team around, finally we get in a trajectory, and then boom, COVID hit, right? All of your businesses have been affected by COVID. You can imagine a live event business. We depend on all of you getting together in a room and watching a game. We're in an arena like ours. So we were decimated. I was sitting next to Vinny in New York when the NBA, if you remember, canceled their first game. World was going bananas. This was like March 12th, 2020. I turned to him. I said, hey, we're probably going to have to lay off our people or furlough our people. We literally have all games, concerts. It's over. You have zero revenue in an instant, okay? And he said, absolutely not. We're building something, important, and it's something we're proud of. We're going to stick by our people, keep them employed. They have enough, his exact line was, they have enough stress in their lives. They're not going to have economic hardship. So he was amazing. I mean, you're talking, we have, okay, I guess I went a little too quick, but Bloomberg did a nice article about how we kept our staff in place. And this was something that we really instituted in the team from day one, is communities at the heart of everything we do. We know we're not just going to we're not sitting in Madison Square Garden in the middle of New York and people are just going to roll to our games all the time. So the more we get out and connect with folks, they're going to build an emotional connection to us. And then we're also, not only are we loyal, but these people are going to be very loyal to us when we get through COVID and get the live events business back up. So this is our numbers pre-COVID and then post-COVID, if you want to call that now. So 2 years ago, March 12th, 2020, we had our best revenue ever at that time. You know, it's not so much, we started from a pretty low base. But since those, you know, almost 3 years ago now, you can see all the numbers. Our TV viewership is up tremendously. We reworked our media rights deal. Our corporate partnerships, brands have come in. We listed some of them on the right-hand side. AutoNation, Live Nation. You probably heard of some of these big public companies that are out there. Waste Management. We just signed a big deal with Amerant Bank. If you don't know them, they're great. Jerry Plush is their CEO. They're out in Miami and Coral Gables. Phenomenal. So just tremendous growth. A lot of this has to do with the team winning. You know, winning is paramount, but a lot of this is also the blood, sweat, and tears of our staff and treating people well and getting people to be excited. There's a lot of folks that just aren't hockey fans or even sports fans, but you want to bring a family of four out, you want to enjoy a night, you want to see a lot of excitement, entertainment, you come out and see a game. All right, I'm about 3.5 minutes, all right? So I clearly can talk all day, all right? But I want questions. I want to hear from you. What please, right here, sir.
So just generalities, how's the investment?
So, yeah, great question. So, you know, I mentioned before, we got a very low purchase price, right? And so we came in a very low valuation. Since then, the owner has put in a ton of money, right? A lot of these teams, at least, you know, 5-10 years ago, were losing a lot, right? So if you add the purchase price plus all his capital, we're in the money right now, at least $100 million. So it's probably, you know, a 40% IRR if you do all the math since we bought the team. Now, listen, it's very illiquid. Not everybody can. If we just tried to sell that today, you know, there's only so many people that can buy these things. But Forbes, actually, just yesterday, Forbes came out with valuations. Their numbers are all over the place, but generally speaking, they're in the right direction. All the big media deals, the ESPNs, the Amazon Primes, all this money that's come in to get live sports on their platforms has increased the sports valuation. So we're sitting pretty. There's a team, the Ottawa Senators, that are for sale right now. People are talking about them hitting, you know, $1 billion valuation. If that happens, our numbers are multiples of what I just said. Could we keep that in this room? Is that cool? All right, that's the one confidential thing, but great question. Come on, what else? Please, yeah.
Do you pay your doctors? Your doctors pay you to be the doctors for your team?
Great question. Yeah, we pay our doctors. Now, we have big partnerships with some local hospitals that have great sports science and you know, orthopedic practices, but our doctors, we pay them and they come to every game and support the team. And that's kind of like the primary care that we give to the players, but then they may want to go see you know, they don't have to use the docs. They can go get their second opinion. Please.
With trade deals, and when you're analyzing a trade deal, what has a better or the biggest impact? Is it the fans, the media, the money, the player? How do you analyze a trade?
Like a player trade?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Very lively question, whether you realize it or not. We had a monstrous trade that we made this summer that many people would call the biggest trade in the last 25 years, right? So in 2004-05, the NHL went on strike. They actually missed the whole season. The league was actually in danger of becoming extinct, okay? Imagine that, like a full season was missed. So there was a big collective bargaining, and basically, I'm oversimplifying it, but they came up with a hard salary cap that was set by the revenues that come into the team. So all the teams have to play within this salary cap, and then there's also a salary floor. So we had a situation this summer. We won the President's Trophy. We had all this momentum, and I showed you some of the revenue numbers. We're just skyrocketing. Everything was going great. And we had two players that we drafted and had been great and had really helped us with the turnaround situation. But they were at a point where they were ready to get their big deals. And you see this in all in sports. You prove yourself in your early to mid-20s, and then by the time you're 30, you want to get paid for the last 10 years, you know, but you got 10 years in front of you. And we wanted to re-sign these folks. They were part of our culture. The fans loved them. So that's the emotional and then even revenue side. But there was another player that was younger, that was better than each of them, and that would be better for us to fit in our salary cap. So we made the trade. It was huge. Very rare that teams exchange stars like this, but we just felt like in hockey, you can't just try to win the Stanley Cup every single year. If you go for it and you get a bad contract, you're stuck with it. You want to be in a relevant, and you want to be in a window of 5 to 7 years you can win it anytime. So we sacrificed maybe some short-term noise for long-term success, and so far it's going pretty well. But we took a lot of heat. Anything else? Yeah, please. This is a great question. He was asking about how do you recruit talent. So our new GM, I'm going to steal his line. Our big mantra is all about a destination franchise, right? So what does that mean? Well, first off, there's a beach right outside, right? It's a destination location. Why be in New York or Boston, Canada, from December to April, okay? Or take your pick, October to April. So that's very important to us. You hear about the growth of South Florida since COVID and people working remotely, the tax situation, and the lifestyle. So that's a big part. Now, we also want to tell players that we just want you to come down and play golf and sit on the beach. We want you to win hockey games. So in parcel with that is committed to winning. Our owner has deep pockets. We're going to play to the cap every year. We're in win, we're in go mode, we're in our window. Look at our roster, look at the age of our players. So you have to prove to the players, the agents, that we're serious, right? We're not a small market that's rebuilding every couple of years or trying to just, do whatever they can to put the lights on. We want to compete with the Montreals and New York. So for us, it's like a lifestyle thing and a first-class, top-notch franchise. I know my time is up. I'm happy to keep rolling. I know you have an agenda, but please, in the back? Yep.
You came into a struggling situation, a struggling hockey team, about a sport that you came into a situation where this team is underperforming, the business is underperforming, about a sport that you know very little about, in a market that's not the typical hockey market, meaning it's not near the Canada border, right? And I don't know of any Florida State or University of Florida hockey teams or anything, but Florida's not a prominent place for hockey, right? What on earth made you think you'd come in and take this pennies on the dollar thing and turning it into dollars on the dollar that you spent?
Yeah,
what was your edge coming into that?
Yeah, I was probably naive and young and ignorant. That's probably the real answer. But what you just said is the top left. Literally, I mean, you should be in our PR team, right? The talking points are bang on to what you said. We tried a few deeply experienced industry folks. Our owner just, after a year or two said, you know what, we are in dire straits. I'm not sure, if you sold tickets at the Rangers or in Montreal, I'm not sure that is going to translate down to Florida. We need to try something different, unorthodox. I got this guy in my family office. I trust him with my money, with my kids, he'll figure it out. He's smart. He understands how I talk. I think I'm smart. That's his words. He understands culture. He understands how I run my companies. We will find the experts to advise us on the team and who to draft. So you can assess talent, right? If you're looking at a real estate deal, a manufacturing deal, an ultra healthy deal, which made me feel really bad, Richard, in the beginning. I'm not doing half the stuff you talked about. I drink a lot of caffeine, fake energy. I'm like, shit. But do the investment. He's bang on. But they, and Vinny's faith in me, right? Vinny, for all his success, was a fan as well. Now he's got a great track record, and I think he realized he can pound me as a family member and yell and scream and push, and I won't get all ego and, hey, I'm the CEO, I got to run things. So it's a great question. It sounds cool. Wow, you're 35 years old. You're going to be the youngest, CEO in sports. You're going to be in sports. I'm a huge sports. My buddies were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." But this is what we were looking at. This is some tough, dire straits. Never knew it was going to result in this, and also we made so many mistakes. The number of things we did wrong. People love to just brag about the numbers and the increases. but we were very real with ourselves. The worst thing to do is if you make a mistake and you know it, don't defend it because it's your idea and you don't want to get blamed, and don't start finger pointing. Roll up your sleeves, fix it, be real with yourself, and move on. That's kind of our story at the end of the day. So I guess you can figure it out if you just put your head down. So sorry, I can keep going. You guys want to cut me off? Time. He's telling me it's time. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate the time.